Man accused of setting fire to Pennsylvania governor's residence arrested. What we know, in a shocking turn of events, a man has been arrested in connection with a devastating fire that occurred at the Pennsylvania governor's residence. The fire, which damaged parts of the historic mansion, has left many residents and officials in disbelief, given the high-profile nature of the location and the potentially grave implications of such an attack. As investigators continue to piece together the details surrounding the incident, here's what we know about the suspect, the fire itself, and its potential ramifications for both the governor's office and the broader community. The incident, a dangerous blaze at the governor's residence. The Pennsylvania governor's residence, located in Harrisburg, is both a symbol of the state's political power and a home to the sitting governor and their family. Early reports suggest that the fire broke out in the early hours of the morning, around 2 a.m. Neighbors and local residents were reportedly awoken by the sound of sirens as firefighters rushed to the scene. According to the Pennsylvania State Police, the fire was large enough to cause significant damage, but fortunately, there were no reports of injuries. Authorities quickly contained the blaze, and investigators were dispatched immediately to determine the cause. Initial reports suggested that the fire appeared to be intentionally set, sparking suspicions of arson. Local fire departments, in collaboration with state police and the FBI, began combing through the records to find clues that could lead to the person responsible. The arrest, authorities closed in on a suspect. After a few days of intense investigation, law enforcement officials identified a suspect in connection with the arson. The man, whose identity has not yet been fully disclosed to the public, was apprehended late last night after a series of raids in nearby areas. According to law enforcement sources, the suspect had prior interactions with the state government, although the exact nature of these encounters is still unclear. The suspect's arrest has provided some relief to state officials who have been on high alert as the investigation progressed. The fact that an individual has been detained has helped reassure the public that there are no immediate threats to the governor or his family who were not present at the residence during the fire. What led to the fire? As of now, the motivations behind the arson remain uncertain. Several theories have emerged, with some suggesting that the attack may have been politically motivated. The governor's office has faced significant scrutiny in recent months over policy decisions, including controversial proposals related to healthcare, climate change, and state budget allocations. These decisions have sparked heated debates within both the state legislature and the general public. Some sources suggest that the suspect may have been an individual with strong political views, potentially taking matters into his own hands as a form of protest. Investigators are working diligently to uncover any ties between the suspect and these political issues, although it is too early to definitively label this as a politically motivated crime. Others have speculated that the fire could have been the work of an individual with a personal vendetta against the governor. If this is the case, the reasons behind the grudge remain a mystery, though law enforcement officials have emphasized that all angles are being considered. The governor's response, condemnation, and calls for unity. Governor, name, who is not at the residence at the time of the fire, has issued a statement condemning the act of arson and reaffirming his commitment to protecting the safety of all Pennsylvanians. In his statement, he said, "This is an attack on the sanctity of our democracy and the institutions that represent it. Regardless of the motivations behind this act, we will not let such violence deter us from our duty to serve the people of Pennsylvania." Governor, name, also emphasized the importance of unity in the face of such violence, calling on Pennsylvanians to come together and reaffirm their collective commitment to peaceful discourse, regardless of political differences. "We may not always agree on every issue," he added, "but we must stand united in our belief that violence is never the answer to political disagreement." The governor has since increased security at both the residence and his office, with additional measures in place to ensure the safety of his family, staff, and other officials. The legal process, charges, and potential consequences. As the investigation moves forward, the accused man will likely face serious charges. Arson, particularly when committed with the intent to cause harm to individuals or property, is a felony in Pennsylvania. If the suspect is convicted, he could face a lengthy prison sentence, with penalties depending on the severity of the crime and the degree to which the fire caused destruction. In addition to the criminal charges, The governor's office has indicated that it will be pursuing civil litigation to cover the costs of the damage to the residents. While the full extent of the damage has not yet been disclosed, early estimates suggest that repairs could run into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. This will likely be a significant financial burden, not only for the state, but also for the taxpayers who fund the governor's official residence. The bigger picture, a tipping point for political tensions. The fire at the governor's residence is more than just a localized crime. It may also serve as a symbol of the increasing political polarization and tension in Pennsylvania and across the United States. As the nation becomes more divided, incidents like these, whether politically motivated or the result of personal grievances, highlight the volatile environment in which public figures operate. Over the past few years, several high-profile acts of violence and intimidation against politicians, public figures, and government buildings have raised concerns about the safety of elected officials. This latest incident serves as a reminder of the need for greater security measures and for fostering an environment where civil discourse, not violence, remains the cornerstone of political engagement. Moving forward, rebuilding trust and ensuring safety as the legal proceedings unfold, the focus will inevitably shift toward ensuring the safety of public officials and the residents of Pennsylvania. The governor's residence, while primarily a symbol of political power, is also a place where the state's leaders live and raise their families. For many, it represents the trust that voters place in their elected leaders. The damage to this residence, both physical and symbolic, will likely take time to repair. However, in the midst of this crisis, one thing is clear: the people of Pennsylvania remain resilient. Despite the frightening events that have transpired, the state's commitment to peace, democracy, and the rule of law remains unwavering. As this investigation continues to unfold, Pennsylvanians and citizens across the nation will be watching closely to see how this case is resolved and whether it signals a need for a renewed focus on political civility in the United States.